Hey, so before I start this video, I'm sick. Also, I'm looking for a part-time editor. Requirements are pretty straightforward. You just gotta have relatively decent football knowledge, have Adobe Premiere Pro. That's very much like a deal breaker there. Also, you can edit similar to the style I currently have. I don't care for anything extra. Be good with background music, and bonus points if you get ADHD. If you're interested, all you gotta do is email me at this address right here. Recently, the 2025 Ballon d'Or winner was revealed as 28-year-old Ousmane Dembele, which is a pretty incredible story for him, as up until January of this year, everyone unanimously agreed he was one of the biggest busts in the world. Also, regarding that video, it's been a few years. I'm gonna assume that he's matured over the last few years. Anyways, amid the entire city of Paris celebrating, there was actually a lot of anger towards the results of this year's Ballon d'Or. More specifically, from the Lamine Yamal fan base and his camp. I think this is the biggest, I won't say theft, but moral damage done to a human being, because I believe Lamine Yamal is the best player in the world by far, by a huge margin. This is what Lamine's own father said about his son's claim to the 2025 Ballon d'Or. Coming off ending racism in Spain with Nico Williams last summer, Lamine would go on to have an incredible 2024-25 campaign. He had 9 goals and 13 assists, which helped Barcelona win La Liga. He scored a goal in the semis and the final of the Supercopa. His 2 assists were a big part of Barcelona's victory versus Real Madrid in the Copa del Rey final. And lastly, he showed off on the biggest stage of them all with 5 goals and 3 assists in the Champions League. In total, that's 21 goals and 21 assists, and mind you, he did this all before turning 18. Here's the issue though, the Ballon d'Or more often than not prioritizes more than just stats. It wants trophies. In this case, the Champions League, which Barcelona failed to reach the final of. A team that did reach the final and then went on to win it though was PSG, spearheaded by the resurgence of the inevitable winner of the Ballon d'Or, Ousmane Dembele. The Frenchman scored 8 goals and assisted 6 more in the Champions League. This included a goal and assist in the semis to lead the Parisians past Culture FC. Dembele was joint top scorer of Ligue 1 with 21 goals, which helped PSG pretty much just cruise through the league. He registered 3 goals in the Coupe de France, 2 of which came in the semis. The forward also scored the only goal in PSG's Trophy du Champion win versus Monaco, and on top of all of this, the 28-year-old scored and assisted in PSG's Club World Cup semi versus Real Madrid. So in total, Dembele finished 2024-25 with 35 goals and 14 assists. So that's more goal contributions and trophies than the so-called best in the world, Lamine Yamal. But Dembele didn't even have the most goal contributions last season. That title actually goes to Liverpool's Mo Salah. The now 33-year-old proved so many doubters wrong by leading the Reds to their historic 20th title with 29 goals and 18 assists. From just one competition alone, Salah's goal contributions record for 24-25 was just 2 away from tying Dembele's. Including the other competitions now, Salah had 57 goal contributions across the whole season. However, problem is, once his form fizzled out, so did Liverpool, as you saw from their early exit in the Champions League. But it's figures like these that make it so hard for me to believe people when they say Lamine Yamal was actually robbed. Like, you want to talk about a real robbery? Look at his teammate Rafinha. Rafinha had 56 goal contributions across all competitions. He tied Cristiano Ronaldo's Champions League record of 21 goal contributions in a single season and didn't receive a #1 vote from any journalist. Did you catch that? Up to this point in the video, I've been basing the winner of the Ballon d'Ors not off my criteria, but the media's. Because if you didn't know already, the Ballon d'Or is entirely decided by international journalists, which, in my opinion, already a bad idea because you get shit like this every year. But it also means that this is an award based entirely on media perception. A couple years ago, there was a lot of talk about how football after the post-Messi Ronaldo era was kinda boring. It was too systematic, too calculated. It almost kicked out the brilliance of the individual player themselves. So when Lamine Yamal popped up on the scene and was making defenders look silly, everyone saw him as this savior of football, especially the media who were getting tired of writing about the newest up-and-coming manager's form of the Gegenpenis tactic or whatever. Now compare this to Rafinha. The Brazilian grew up in a rough neighborhood where there were times when he and his family had to beg for food. This was a guy who lost many friends to the lure of false hope money from crime and drugs brought to people in desperation. And he went from playing in some of the toughest environments you could think of to smashing records held by gods of this sport. But was he the savior of football? No? Back of the line, buddy. Let's go back to Dembele for a second. Had PSG lost that final, I wholeheartedly believe that Lamine Yamal would have been in the pole position to win this thing. Because basing this off what the media was saying, while Dembele's goal contribution significantly outweighed Lamine's total, French success doesn't have the same pedigree as Spanish success, and most importantly, Lamine Yamal was seen as the more impactful player on the pitch. But the thing is, that's not true at all. Because if you're an avid PSG fan or hate watcher like myself, you saw Dembele all over the pitch, and in doing so, he unlocked so much space for his teammates. Not only was he scoring goals like an absolute maniac, but he was also the reason why Paris Saint-Germain opened up so much, why they were playing so incredibly fluid. But that doesn't matter because those other impactful highlights aren't as flashy as what Lamine Yamal is doing. And also at the same time, it doesn't fit Dembele's narrative. Because Dembele's narrative was the fact that he was finally fulfilling that career mode ass potential we all expected from him when he was younger. Meanwhile, you have Lamine Yamal's highlights, who have been more impactful simply because they're flashy, and they're also decorations for that savior of football title. Enough about Lamine Yamal though. Let's look at how the media has affected the rest of the rankings this year. In a time when it feels like the striker is becoming more and more rare, Victor Gyökeres exploded onto the scene. 39 goals in the Portuguese league and another 6 in the Champions League put this guy 15th in the rankings. That ranking was higher than 21st place Serhou Guirassy, who had a better goal per 90 record in the Champions League. But here's the thing, do you see Serhou doing those mass celebrations or having those aura edits of him? Exactly. Erling Haaland had to put Manchester City's attack on his back because everyone else was either underwhelming or washed, and also Pep was divorced. 22 goals in the Premier League, 8 goals in the Champions League, but because expectations are greater for him, his lower figures and missed shots were put under a microscope more than anyone else, and in the end, he placed 26th. Desiree Doué is another kid in the footballing world we can see as the savior of football in his individual brilliance. He's absolutely saucy with it, no doubt, but his performances versus Liverpool in the second leg and Inter in the final very much skyrocketed his notoriety. Because I'm sorry, I'm not about to be told that this guy had a better overall season than João Neves and even Scott McTominay. Scott McTominay was essential to Napoli's Scudetto run and also won Serie A MVP. But because Serie A doesn't get any international attention really, he's placed below the likes of Victor Gyökeres and Cole Palmer. This is the biggest case of recency bias right here, because Cole Palmer throughout the second half of the season had only 3 goals and 2 assists in the Premier League. But because he starred in the Club World Cup and led Chelsea past PSG in a matter of like 30 minutes, he's ranked 8th! That is 18 spots higher than last year when he had a better overall season. Dude, he's higher than Gigi Donnarumma. Let's be serious for a second. I think especially now that we're long past the Messi-Ronaldo era, people are now really starting to see how this award is all about moments, recency bias, and media agendas all determined by a vast amount of subjectivity. And no other position in this sport exposes that more than the center back. Compared to other roles on the pitch, where there's distinct stats and aesthetics to somewhat determine a player's quality, when it comes to judging a center back, it's more of an eye test. But even then, that's very difficult because as the great Paolo Maldini once said, if I have to make a tackle, I have already made a mistake. Defending isn't just about tackling. There's a lot of nuance in the role, like awareness and positioning. And a lot of the time, this isn't flashy or visually impressive on first glance, so it's usually overshadowed and never really given its flowers. And because of this, there's less margin of error for a center back because sure, they may have had an almost picture-perfect game, but at the end of the day, a goal was conceded. Case in point, Virgil van Dijk was arguably the best defender in the world last season, and he was ranked 28th. But again, less margin of error. A lot of the ranking was probably based on Liverpool's early exit from the Champions League. I mean, it's all just a popularity contest. Just look at how Declan Rice, with 2 majestic free kicks, was able to finish right above him. Unless there is an out-and-out winner for this award, we mean like win all the trophies, look better than everyone else by like a country mile, this is going to be a problem quite literally every single fucking year. Just let the players decide, man. Like, they know the fucking sport more than anyone else. Let the managers decide this, okay? Like, don't let some guy from Bhutan just have the ability to rage bait and actually have power. That's just stupid, okay? I'm sorry. This award is stupid, it's unserious, and this tweet by Ellis could not sum up my thoughts anymore. But yeah, who do you guys think should have won the Ballon d'Or? Ousmane Dembele, Lamine Yamal, Son, and of course a massive shout out to all our members, including Janos Balas, German Sayu 7th, Jeremiah Owusu Ajimang, Brazilian Fury, Django, Anazir Makalongcom, Alex Rod, Kentra Agatra, Saint Terrence, Sylvia Citrus, Rashford Enthusiast, Cheesebait, Winter Gel, Finn Likes Rugby More, Davox, The Portugizer, Wise Orange, Polar Protos, Von Fran, Lucian Von Kreutzer, Ghostly Owl, Coney Wolves, Lickstab, Matanai, Apollo, Congo Jazz 1, Thrilling 80T13, Los Milos, James Braun, Vecino, Napside, Money Cash Hose, Quantavious Pork, Lilia Lover, Stewed Monk, Red Yellow, Kevin Mojica, Fuxi, MX Sand, Harry Maguire's Left Toenail, Flaquito, Kev C, Dominic Griffin, Kyler Krebs, Mohammed Altanib, Nish, Patrick Barley, Rashford God 5, Raspberry Ale, and Unbroken Persona. If you'd like to become a member on the channel, there'll be a link down below and up in the annotations. You can follow my Twitter if you want, follow my Instagram if you like, follow my Twitch. I will be doing more Arsenal watch-alongs. I was going to do one for Newcastle, and then this happened. But also, Italy video essay, I am really hoping to work on the entirety of it throughout October and have it out in November. I was supposed to record it last week, but then I got sick the fucking day I was supposed to actually record. So yeah, that's great. But anyways, it will come out, I promise you. Until then, though, I'll see you guys.